Well, good morning once again, and thanks for staying with us right here on the Market Day Report. Well, for 26 years, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln has polled rural residents on important issues. This year, they issued a companion poll to get a sense of how urban and rural experiences differ on the impact of COVID-19. Well, Associate Professor of Practice in Ag Economics, Tim Meyer, joins us now with the latest on that poll. And thank you, Tim, for taking the time to chat with us and share your insights. Now, according to your research, how did the pandemic affect Nebraskans?
Well, there were a wide variety of impacts and primary things that you would imagine, whether it's sickness or quarantine, having to work from home. But the biggest impact was social. I mean, that was the one thing that the majority of Nebraskans noted was that their social lives were really challenged. And, you know, whether it's policy or rules or different health concerns within families, those challenges were real, and they're still lasting for sure.
So how did rural and urban Nebraskans experience COVID-19 differently?
You know, that's an interesting question because the rural poll exists because Nebraska is a state where we have this major urban area that's Lincoln and Omaha, and then the rest of the state. But our research really showed that they were similar. You know, statistically, there was almost no difference in most of our metrics. But two things came up. One was that the rural Nebraskans were able to deal with the social difficulties easier. Just they have more space and fewer people. On the other hand, urban Nebraskans had more work from home opportunities. They just had more resources in that regard. And that actually looks like that's going to be a change going forward, where the rural Nebraskans typically will go back to whatever their normal day-to-day work life was. Working at home is just not going to be as easy if you're a rural Nebraskan than if you're in the city.
Now, why is it important to understand the similarities and also the differences between these kind of communities?
So we do the rural poll for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, to give rural Nebraskans a voice and really to provide our policymakers information about what's going on in the majority of our state geographically, but the minority when it comes to the population. But I think the cool thing about the poll this year was we worked with the Metropolitan poll. What we found out is that we're really alike. The way that we dealt with the pandemic, our resiliency, our flexibility, how we face these challenges as Nebraskans, I mean, really pretty much the same. So I think that's, you know, we conduct the poll in the most apolitical way possible. And when people are answering our questions, we find out that Nebraskans are Nebraskans. And I enjoyed that result.
A job to get done, and folks, buckle down to do it. Well, thank you very much for your insights. You can go online to ruralpoll.unl.edu for more information. Again, talking with UNL Associate Professor of Practice in Ag Economics, Tim Meyer. Tim, thank you very much for joining us today.